Okay, so we're meeting today after school because we were supposed to do this during our in-service time, but those days got canceled, so that's why we're after school today. Yeah. A few little things, a few little minor things. So it's not going to be long. I got a couple things to go over with you, and then Rich has got some stuff about some drills and explain them and all that, and then that'll be it for today. But anyway, first thing is we're doing absolutely a fantastic job on the drills. Everybody's doing really well. The kids are doing well. Everyone we've practiced, and the ones I've got to view and just to check up on, everybody's done exactly what they're supposed to do, which is good. And that's why we drill it, because if we make mistakes or if we have mistakes, we want to make sure that we correct them, and go over it with them. Next, reporting safety concerns. We've done an excellent job with that too. Just in this week, I've had teachers report that they had some doors that would not close and a natural gas smell today, which that's normal. What happens is we've been through that 100 times. Once, like heat starts up and hot water and stuff like that, the outside, you'll get that smell every once in a while, and then it goes away. It's fine. So it's totally safe. But the upside is stuff that's being reported, which is good. Stuff like the doors, we got them fixed, immediately. Dudley was here within an hour and fixed it. Rich was able to go out, close the doors, get them closed. So everybody's doing a great job with that. The other thing is reporting suspicious activity. We want to make sure that we always continue to do that, which in years past we've done really well with that. Okay. Or people that are on campus. So a little bit about that in those drills, which I'm sure y'all saw what happened with the Buna fiasco. Okay. So how that is supposed to work, and that was one of the things that I was gonna talk to you guys, is if you see somebody in the hallway or there's somebody trying to come in that's not supposed to, you remember we always ask them, in case teachers ask y'all, and we'll tell teachers this, and we'll send out emails and stuff, just reminders. You always ask them, hey, can I help you? What are you doing here? You're not familiar. Point them to the right direction. Everybody does a great job of that. The biggest thing that we get with that is parents or people that don't know, they try to come in the cafeteria because they think that's the front of the school. And we just simply redirect them, and so we're out there, and then behind me there's usually 2 or 3 other teachers, so we've got a pretty good line right there where, we can tell people. But the main thing is if somebody's in the building, it's not supposed to be there or a part of it, if they're not badged or have a sticker or something like that, we, need to approach and find out what they need or what they're doing, so, yeah. Anyway, also just remember, like with COVID and some of the things that we do, remember how we talked about at the beginning of the year, that some of the COVID precautions aren't always the best safety precautions, but we still have to do them. And so and what I mean by that is like open doors, So when we have doors that are open, because we don't want kids touching them all the time, we just have to monitor those, So like if there's an open exterior door, especially, you need to make sure that, and we can remind people if they ask y'all or we go, that they just have to be monitored, And I've done that. I've told everybody, like the coaches, choir, and everybody like that, hey, if you have to open that door, make sure you're there to monitor. And remember, you can have an open door, you just have to have someone that's there to monitor, okay? And it's not like you have to stand there, but you have to be able to kind of see, back and forth. So, like in the mornings, we have that door that's open, well, Jill's right there, We open this door, of course, there's still another set of doors where they can get in, right. But we have people in the front office that are there. Okay? All right, Rich, you're up. Drill time. You want to explain your part?
Yeah, so 2 things. One of the deals which I was already creating this year is just like what I'm going to call the emergency operations tool. It's something that we can use district-wide. I know when I was a teacher, and y'all are all smarter than me, so I'm sure that you didn't have this problem. But when I was a teacher and we would do a lockdown drill, I didn't know what the difference between that and a lockout drill was and things of that nature. So what I've created is just a little emergency operations tool. I'll pass those out to you guys. all it does is define the 8 different drills that we do, and so that way, we're gonna go over these every year at the beginning of the school year. But this way, if I'm saying, hey, this is our drill that we're doing this week, you can at least reference this and say, okay, lockdown. I know that I need to barricade the doors, turn off the lights, students should be gathered in a safe area in the room, and you can take it off ahead of time. So it's just something that, especially for our new teachers who maybe we hire them halfway through the year or whatnot, if they didn't get the full procedures at the beginning of the year, then they'll be able to access this. It'll be a Google Doc, and I'll share it with everybody, and then that way, when I have a drill, that's something that you can reference if necessary. And then the other thing I'm going to be doing with it is just including this little tidbit, which I've kind of started doing this year anyways. When we have a drill, I'll explain why. Yeah, because and the whole thinking behind that is, if we're drilling it and it's going to be useful, we probably need to know why we're doing it. So it's something that when I was a teacher, I did what I was asked to do, and I followed the little safety route and everything like that. But when it came down to it, and when it really hits the fan, if somebody came on the intercom and said, all right, teachers, we're entering lockout mode or lockdown mode, I couldn't have told you what the difference is.
Yeah.
So this is something we can use as a training tool. It's something that we can use as a reference for teachers, and then it's something that before each drill I will pretty much copy and paste this information and send it. That way
Perfect.
we can go over that.
Then everybody knows.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
And then there's a couple of things that I think there's sometimes miscommunication on. So this just as kind of a bonus little tidbit here. Emergency procedures we're going to cover at the beginning of the year, but anytime a new employee is hired, we also go over them with them. So that's just so y'all know, so you don't feel like you have to train them up in it. I know some of the drills, like last week we had a fire drill, and that was inconvenient, but sometimes that's going to be good for us. We want to do different times and stuff like that, so it's not always going to be convenient. But with the kids, they're going to be in different areas. Like if it actually happens, it's not going to be study hall most likely.
Right.
So they need to know the alternative routes, and if there was an obstacle or whatnot. One thing that gets used a lot in these things is like emergency jargon, where it's like we're entering a code red or code blue, and so we're
Lockout.
right, exactly. So we as
Just go
a
to my room and sit down.
yes.
Turn the lights off.
Just go to my room and sit down.
That's it. Go sit down.
So we want to eliminate that kind of language so that there's no miscommunication. Obviously, our ultimate goal is coordinated efforts to execute in a calm and orderly manner. And what's a really important thing is all students got to be accounted for in all these procedures, which is why study hall is a good time for us to do it, because that's the best chance that kids are somewhere where they're not supposed to be, and they might not have their notes. And then here's a big one, and this is something that needs to be communicated to everybody, but as often as we can. We don't want to, even though we want to train our kids up in what the procedures are for them, we don't want to communicate what the plans are, because this is specifically speaking to school shootings. Every time there's been a large-scale school shooting, it seems like it's been linked to those kids knew exactly where everybody was going to go in that type of situation. And so I remember learning that in college, I think it was like Harvard or something, they had a school shooting a long time ago, and the guy pulled the fire alarm and knew where each class was going to go, and that's how he picked his targets. And so, in fact, the only class that didn't suffer like multiple casualties in that situation was the one who diverted from the plan that they were supposed to be going on. So anyways, that's something important. Other than that, we're good. We're on schedule with our drills. I'm trying to get them all hammered out in the the fall semester, so that we don't have to mess with them so much in the spring. So we'll continue doing that. We got about 2 per month. So
Yeah.
that's it.
And we'll still have to do fire drill. And the way that works, in case y'all want to know, any month that has 10 or more days, you have to have a fire drill.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we actually got out of August without one, because we basically didn't go
We
to school in
didn't
August.
have 10 days. We had
Wow.
like 8
Right.
or 9, something like
It
that.
has to be a fire. It's not the
Yes,
other
it has to.
Yeah.
We have to have a fire drill every time there's a 10 days. We have to have 2 lockdown drills, and then each one of these other ones has to go once. So what we'll often do is like Red Ribbon Week, we'll do a fire drill to get everybody outside, and then we do an evacuation drill, because evacuation you just have to move them from one area to another. So we kind of double dip that.
So we didn't get to do that this year because we didn't have a Red Ribbon Parade.
Right.
So with us, that's always been a deal where we can double dip. We
Right.
get them out there, we drill, we get them back. So,
Right.
but that didn't happen, so we're having to make.
Will we have any more unannounced fire drills? I know that one was like a joke unannounced,
Right.
but will
Well-
we have unannounced fire drills still, or?
Yes.
Like the answer to that is we wanted to do it unannounced anyways, and
Very
so we
good.
lucked into that
We
one.
lucked into that one, yeah.
And,
Will we have another one
Right.
though?
I mean, we could.
Yeah.
You
Are you
know,
planning to have another one, Rich? It's sometime this
we
year.
plan we plan to have
Well,
one unannounced.
If you
fire
hear
Okay,
the
there we
little
go.
There will be
They'll all-
one. There will be one announced.
Just
Okay.
know it's coming.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if we're gonna pull alarms, because obviously we just did that.
Right.
And we don't have to do that every time.
Right.
We can do that one time and that could count as an alarm.
On this topic, is it true? If something that we have sensors
Mhm.
up in the eaves, the rafters, and if something flies up there, it could set the alarm off.
So that is exactly what happened.
That's
Because
what happened.
Okay,
So,
that is what
like
happened.
8 o'clock that morning, Kobe came and met with me and was like, "Hey, look, we're gonna be working in the rafters. I'm gonna avoid the beams as much as I can, but I have disabled the alarm. So even if something goes off, just know there will be no responders."
Okay.
So noon hits, and it goes off. And I was like, "Well, it's supposed to be off." He's like, "Well, don't worry. I've disabled it. There will not be any responders."
Okay.
So at that point, I'm
20
calling
minutes
everybody
later.
back in, and then I'm like, so I look at Colby, and sure enough, he's on the phone. Well, he disabled the responders, but that resets.
It's only good for 4 hours.
He didn't realize that the 4 hours had passed,
Yeah.
and so he hit that beam, and sure enough, fire department came up.
Well, we have students, just an FYI, I don't know if you
Yeah.
know this, we've got students that are bringing balls to class, and
Yes.
today's, particularly, one of the 8th graders threw a long pass way up high down the main hall.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
And I was
no-no.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
it's
hope
Well,
that
a
and
doesn't
I-
set off an alarm.
What I've started doing is I confiscate anything that I see out of a hand
Okay,
in the hallways. I'm confiscating.
Yeah.
Really, I don't want them to have them. The only reason we're being partial to it this year is because like y'all are taking mass breaks, somewhat frequently, and it gives them something to
well,
do.
sure.
And then this year we want them outside. Like when lunchtime hits, we want them to go straight outside.
No, I'm okay with them having a ball,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if that was true.
No, it's
That
very
if they
true.
chunk the ball up like
Yeah.
we saw today,
It's very
then the
true.
alarm goes off.
Yes.
Well, that's
But we don't want the
That-
kids to know.
no.
Yeah, we don't want that to tell them.
Because they
No,
will
no,
get it
because
as soon
then
as
they
they
will
know.
Because
trip
those
the
balls
alarm.
would really be flying.
Yes, they will trip the alarm on purpose.
Right.
I just didn't know if that
Right.
was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and just since we're talking about it, if you see a ball being bounced or anything, just send it to me, and I'm holding it, and I'm just telling the kids like they'll get it back one time, but I'm gonna hold it till Friday, and so that way it's confiscated, but I'm not
Right.
taking it from them.
We haven't had a problem with it till today.
It's kind
They're
of
all
like
losing
it's
their mind
like
this week.
it's like water bottles right now. Like our water bottle philosophy is a necessary evil. They gotta have
I
them.
know.
But it's every day we're mopping up water bottles, or somebody's getting a concussion by getting hit in the back of the head with a water bottle.
Which they probably deserve.
He did. Come to find out he did.
Have to keep my water bottle away from him.
Okay.
Because I may want to.
And what I'll do is I'll send out an email tomorrow, and I'll just say, "Hey, safety team met," and I'll go over everything and discuss. So y'all, it'll be fine. Well, I'll take care of that, and y'all just the stuff that we talked about. This is it. And then that's it. We'll meet again. We can always meet if we need to, but we'll meet again next semester for sure. Rich, how many times is it?
Are you still wanting to do
Is it
this?
2 times, 3
For
times?
safety
Are you still wanting
Yeah.
to do
I
stop
think it's
leave?
2.
Yeah.
I think it's 1 per semester.
We were told for now it's not happening, I don't think. So
Okay.
we'll
They're
see.
not doing that.
Yeah, we
I'm glad
haven't
you brought
been
that up.
told.
The trainings that are in there, as you see, the ones we're having to do through responsive learning, not all of them are responsive learning, but cybersecurity, that is one. That should be due tomorrow. Okay, that's a big one. Talks about, y'all have all done it, I'm sure, so you know what it is. But that is part of the safety stuff, cyber safety. And there's some more that have to do with epilepsy and
And so I think last year, at the end of the year, we were supposed to have the
Yeah.
stop bleed,
Yes.
and then we rescheduled it, but I know COVID now.
It
I
was
guess
never
nobody's gonna
really
bleed because of
rescheduled.
COVID.
They were supposed to, and they just haven't.
They
just
just
haven't.
okay.
So
They
they
just
just
haven't,
talked about
right.
that, so.
I'm good, I mean.
So it's kind of floating in the air, but that's a good question because all those ones that are, that are on that sheet, we do have to do those, but they're all on the computer, so.
Oh, okay, that's not I thought that was like a physical training you had to do with us.
To stop the bleed,
Yeah,
me and
It,
Beaumont Emergency Center, I think
That's what I
they're just
thought.
all too busy.
no, I get
It
it.
No,
happens,
it-
like
that
they'll
one
only
is.
do 11 people at a
That one
time,
is.
one
Yeah.
person, so
Right.
they send several nurses to do it. And they talked about doing it last year, and then they said, oh, we'll have to reschedule, but
Sure.
then they still haven't contacted
Okay,
me.
no, that's
So-
fine. I'm not like.
So we just
to
wait
do
till
it.
we hear from
I'm
them, is
good
what
with
it
that.
is.
there you go. All right. Thank y'all.
Okay, guys.
Appreciate it.
Good meeting.
Yes. I feel safer.
Yes.
Nice and safe. Nice and safe.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Our school really is secure though.
It really is.
Yeah.